Okay, so is it recording? Yes. So for the recording, welcome to this call with Emily Mascarenhas. And so I just wanted to introduce her quickly. So I saw you from afar and I always liked your talks. And then we met at the boot camp in Portugal 2.5 years ago, no, 1 year ago, I think it was. And it was a very special time and we somehow connected very deeply. And since then we have met on many trips in Europe, on events, and with your husband and your lovely family. And also my daughter loves you very much. And so, yeah, I'm very happy that you have come on this call and you will share with our team little bit of your experience and give us some inspiration. So I would
well,
like that you can start with your journey and introduce yourself also and how you got started with doTERRA and how you were building also having a family.
yes, and first of all, before I jump in and dive in with you guys, I just want to say thank you for having me on your team call, because I know, you know, we have our own team, and it's a real honor to be asked onto somebody's team call, and thank you for trusting me. And I do feel such a deep connection with you and your team, Claudia, from when we first met. It's just been a privilege to know you guys and to call you our friends, and it's just wonderful to be connected to so many incredible doTERRA family all over Europe. We're so blessed with the community that we have, and so it's great to be with you all this evening. Okay, so I was thinking about what I wanted to share with all of you tonight earlier, and I started writing some things down. And you know, when you write things down, I don't know if you're anything like me, but the messages just keep coming and I couldn't stop writing. So I've got lots that I wanted to share with you. A lot of people, they want to hear from me how we built our business with a young family. And Claudia also posted some questions to me that some of you had asked. So I really hope that I cover the things that are going to speak to you and that are going to land for you this evening. But the first thing that I really wanted to look at is the word stability. That's what really kind of landed in my heart today, especially right now. And I think that this has been a driving force for me in many ways. So 12 years ago, I think that's when a big shift happened for me, actually. So 12 years ago, I lost my father. I was very close to him, and it was, you know, a big shock actually at the time. I also, prior to doTERRA and other work, myself and my husband, when we first met, we were in the theatre industry, following our passions and our dreams. And also personally, you know, when we're talking about stability, I actually also had some eating disorders that I had been working through since my teens. I was a dancer. I thought in order to be successful, I needed to look a certain way. And I think, again, there was an element of control involved with that. And I didn't really respect my body and appreciate my body for all that it gave me and it brought me, you know, and the ability to be able to dance. It was very much a, you know, focus on needing to look a certain way in order to please. But I think all of those things, they reflect stability in some way, you know, and the lack of control, or the lack of things being taken out of our hands. And looking back, when I talk about stability, I think this was something that I was lacking in my life. But I think that there comes a time in our lives when we are ready, and we've had enough of doing things or living in such a way for so long. And this was my time. This is when I started to wake up. And I remember back years ago, before doTERRA, Tim and I, we had our own big dreams, and we used to watch that program. I don't know if you have it, but it used to be called Dragon's Den. And it was where entrepreneurs could bring a business plan to a panel of like judges, and that they would see if they would support them in creating their dream business, and you know, to make a success of their lives. And we would spend hours thinking of different ideas of business models and plans. So we had dreams, and different ideas would spring to mind. I think we had an idea of like an organic fast food company, an organic junk food, we were going to call it. And then Tim wanted to do an upmarket organic pizza delivery. But all of our ideas, it was always something that we wanted or that we would be really interested in. And then nearly 10 years ago, because our eldest Frankie, he's nearly 10, I became a mother for the first time. And suddenly, any of you guys who are mothers will, I'm sure, agree, just everything changes, doesn't it? And it's suddenly not just about you and your partner. Suddenly you have this small person to look after, and this responsibility. And I just wanted to be the best mum that I could be, and to protect my baby from the world, from any harm, from anything negative or anything that I didn't believe in. And of course, chemicals worried me. And I made health choices back then. We made health choices, I should say, that felt very instinctive to us both. Sometimes different from other mothers that I knew at the time. And I found myself in this place that was sometimes a little bit scary and unknown, because it can be when you detach yourself from the herd, when you do things differently because your heart tells you something, because your heart speaks, but you know it to be true. And I think this is part of our evolution, when we know something so deeply that we are prepared to go for it, regardless of what everyone else is doing. And I think becoming a mother was part of my own evolution, for sure. I felt like I found myself, because prior to that, I was very lucky. I was living out my passions and my dreams, but I don't know that I really knew who I truly was. And I really feel like I found who I was when I became a mother. And I knew how important it was for me to protect my family's health and to have more control and stability around that. So I found myself online, researching all the time, ordering things from all over the world, trying out different forms of alternative, holistic care for myself and for the family. Lots of natural healthcare options. This literally started 10 years ago. And it's funny because the other day we did a big clear out of our cupboards, and all of my old things were in there, and they're all out of date. I didn't need any of them anymore. Because then I found the oils when I went, on that journey 5 years in. This intuition led me to the oils and to doTERRA. So when I discovered doTERRA, I did feel like that homecoming had happened. And I instantly felt that stability and that comfort, that feeling of, hey, I feel like if this is true, if these oils do all of this, then I found everything that I was looking for in one place. And that for me represented comfort, stability, empowerment, excitement. It was an amazing feeling. And so the business for me was a no-brainer, because I bit onto that straight away, because I had that entrepreneur within me. I think I'd been searching somehow for the right vehicle, and I felt that very, very quickly with doTERRA. And I knew I could share this. But why? Because I was that person that had that need. And I knew that there were so many other mothers out there that were searching for the same thing, for that comfort, for that empowerment, for that stability, for that, joy and excitement and ownership around our health. So there's stability in the two of these things. There's stability in the oils and what they represent in our homes and for our families' health and looking after each other. But also there's stability in this business as well. And you know, it's funny, isn't it? Because in order to be the best mother that I knew how to be, I knew that I needed to ask for the help and the guidance from the most nurturing mother of all, Mother Nature, Mother Earth. So the oils spoke to me and the business spoke to me. And this was a way that we could create more stability in our lives. Previously, we had very little financial security in the theatre world, and although we loved it and we lived our passion, and that was a gift to be able to be creative in that way, money does bring a freedom and a stability, and it enables you to do what matters. And now, 5 years on, with what's going on in the world currently, I am just so grateful that we opened our hearts and our minds to this possibility and to this opportunity, and we kept going even when times were hard, you know, because now I look around and there is so much instability in the world right now, and we are so safe with doTERRA. We are so safe. doTERRA is so strong, and we are being looked after. We are being protected by a company whose mission is to enable the most people in the world to be free from debt. I mean, that is incredible. That is so powerful. So there we have it, stability around two interweaving topics, really, around health, but also around a business and a lifestyle. And laced together, this was all about looking after my family. Both of those things, they're about looking after my family and just being the best that I could be, doing the best that I could do as a mother, as a human being. So going into some of the questions that you guys have asked, somebody asked about, was I concerned about losing friends when I first started out in doTERRA, and worried about other people's opinions? And I think that's a really big question, isn't it? It's a really good thing to dive into, because I think so many people have these feelings, especially when they're first starting out, because we're humans after all. So the answer is yes, of course I did. I'm a human too. And I remember saying to my upline, to Rebecca, you know, I don't want to be avoided walking down the street. I remember saying that to her. You know, I have always, as a person, cared deeply about being liked and about being a nice person. Like, that's been one of the most important things in my life, is that people like me. And sometimes I think it's actually a bit of a weakness as well, in some ways. But the doTERRA journey is such a journey of growth and a pathway to the best versions of ourselves, the stronger versions of ourselves as well. And I've been learning about myself so much in the last 5 years, and growing all the time. It's kind of unbelievable. But there will be people that don't get you, that don't understand what you're doing and why you're doing it, and that's possibly because they're just not there yet, you know, that they're not there yet, I say. Or, you know, there's still people that are, you know, quite asleep to what we share and why we do it, and that's okay, because that is not our responsibility to wake those people up and to persuade anybody. But at the same time, it is not their responsibility to dissuade us in what our heart is calling us to do. We're all here for a reason, right? So if you stop listening to your heart's callings because you are afraid of what other people might say or think, or being judged, It may actually be that you're judging yourself, and that's another aspect of this, and something that you'll probably want to look at. We all have our own things, we all have our own blocks, and different aspects of ourselves that we can work on to become the better versions of ourselves. But don't let what someone else thinks become more important than what you think. I'll say that again. Don't let what someone else thinks become more important than what you think. This is your life. Because in 10, 20, 30 years time, where will that get you? They'll be doing their thing. They'll be moving on. And if you let another person's opinion of you stop you, then that's a big shame. Unless, of course, you're happy with where you are right now. If you're happy to stay where you are right now, and that's okay with you, then keep doing what you're doing by all means. But if you have greater aspirations and you really want to move forwards and your dreams matter enough to you, and you know, all of the things that you're here to create, then you need to get past this. You need to get past this internal dialogue that might be going on in your brain. The people that are your people will stick with you anyway. They will, your tribe. And what you need to show everybody, the people that stick with you and the people that have their own thoughts or feelings on what you're doing, is you need to show them your commitment to this. You need to show them that you're not quitting. And if they don't want to come with you, that's okay. Maybe this journey's not for them. But what they think is not your business. That's not for you to worry about, okay? What they think is not your business. We can't all go through lives constantly worrying about what everybody else thinks. What do you think? That's what's important. What do you think? And I have really learned this. I have learned this so much on this journey. Anyone got any questions or thoughts on that? Are you all still with me? Is there any chat? Please join in with the chat. I would love to hear what you think, if that makes sense, if that lands in any way.
Maybe you can share some thoughts how somebody who has a little bit still doubts or self-confidence issues, how they can strengthen that, how to have more faith in the company, in the business model.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it comes down to your own belief, doesn't it? It comes down to your own belief in doTERRA and in the work that you're doing, and also in your dreams. Okay, so there will be times when things are challenging. You know, any success in life is not going to be easy the whole way through, because it wouldn't be a success and everybody would be doing it, you know. So you have to be prepared to get past the hurdles and the barriers. If why you're doing this matters to you enough, then you will find a way round, because you there's no negotiation. You're keeping going. So when the tough days come, or the difficulties might come, or, you know, just things feel a bit challenging, like they can do with everything in life, you're willing to keep going, because we don't have a boss. We need to keep ourselves inspired. It's up to us. If we stop or we quit, we're gonna fail. If you stop, that's the only way you're going to fail. If you keep going, it might take you longer. You will have a different journey. We all have a different journey. But if you keep going, you will get past whatever comes. You just have to have that internal drive that keeps you going. And that internal drive is your dreams, is your why, is like why you're here. So you need to really think about that, and think about what it is that you are trying to create in your life. You know, that vision. Just like when we teach a class around health, I like to ask people why they came, why are they here? What is it that they want to change, and how much does it matter to them? That's what we teach in the Natural Solutions class. And that triggers something in people's brains when they're like, okay, I'm willing to make that investment. It's the same with the business. You know, we will get past the investment, we'll get past the thing that might stop us or block us, like a financial investment, or perhaps worrying about being judged by other people when we're talking about the business, because it matters too much to us if we don't. And so the belief in the company and the belief in your dreams really matters. Attending events, attending trainings, like you must do that. That is part of this business. If you are serious about this business, you must get yourself to the conventions, to the events, and take the guidance from your amazing leadership that you have, and such a beautiful heart that Claudia has. She is an incredible leader, and I know that she does so much for her team, and so that's going to only help you. That's only going to help you when you face the things that you feel a little bit triggered by or a bit resistant of. Clock in with that. Like, why are you feeling that resistance? Think about it, dig a bit deeper, and then go back to why in your dreams, that visualization, that stability, that freedom, whatever it is here that has called you, that you want to create in your life. This is about you and your life, and you can create whatever it is, whether it is just supplementing your income by a little bit every month, or whether it's to totally replace your income and take freedom over your lives. Whatever that is, nobody can make that up apart from you. You have to know why you're here and what you want to create and how much it matters to you. Okay, let me have a look at the chat. Sharing your thoughts. Could you share time management skills? You can only fail if you stop. Yes. Questions. What are some of your tips for pacing yourself between working on the business, being with your family, and taking downtime for yourself? Thank you very much. I think it's important to be clear and focused to make dreams come true. Yes. Could you share your experience, how it was possible for you to hit diamond? Yes. Okay. So there's a big one there about working around young children, which I'm going to come to. Another question, I'll come to that one last. Another question that Claudia asked was about how we launch builders on the team. So do you want me to go into that as well before I talk about working alongside a family? Okay, so launching a builder. So as I just said, we know doTERRA is an amazing place. It's amazing. It's such an incredible business. The founders are just, I believe, divinely led, and I believe we're all here for a reason. But building any business to be a successful business is not going to be easy, and people quit too quickly. I really believe that we have this internal drive kind of programmed into us, and I think it was from our days in the theatre, because we faced rejection a lot. And I mean, you wouldn't even get a no, actually, you just wouldn't hear again. But if you stopped, you'd never get anywhere. So it was always just, get up, pick yourself up, and on to the next audition. And if I keep going, I'll land a job at some point. And I feel like that stamina has been embedded in us, that we just keep going. So like I said, no negotiation. We're not quitting. This is going to happen. And it will be the same for everybody if you don't quit. So it's not supposed to be easy. Actually, you need to welcome the challenges, and you need to, anytime something happens, a hurdle or something that feels a little bit heavy or not as joyful as you might want, you need to know that you need that message, and it's been placed in your path for a reason. There's some learning there for you to do, and growth and strengthening, like you've got to build the strength in your muscles to climb the mountain. As otherwise, how are you going to lead a team to do the same? So it's all there for you. So there are highs and lows in every business, and in doTERRA there's definitely more highs than lows. It's an amazing place to be. But when you meet those challenges, you need to have that reason. You need to hold on to those dreams again. And so for me, when somebody starts in doTERRA, because I do get a lot of people wanting to do the business, and I speak about the business a lot because I believe so deeply in the doTERRA business. I'm not afraid to mention that it could be an opportunity for you. This could be great alongside what you do, or have you ever thought about that? It might not be something you're interested in right now, but just sowing those seeds in people's minds, because I believe that it's an amazing thing for everybody. So when you have somebody that is then interested in building a business, how do we get them launched? So I've done this well, and I've done this badly. I've learned a lot along the journey, and I have realized that there's so many systems and action steps and things that you can do, but what we really need to do, I believe, is to inspire people to paint that picture of their dreams themselves, just like we do in the class. In the oils class, we paint that picture of this wellness lifestyle, and we help them to tune in with why it matters to them and how good life could feel if they felt healthy, if they didn't have that health issue, the reason why they came, the reason why they're here. So I believe, instead of just giving people too much to do at the beginning, it's really good to just inspire them. So what I have been doing is sending the leadership magazine. And have you guys read the leadership magazine that doTERRA does? All the beautiful stories of all the different types of person who've made it a success in doTERRA. I find it so inspiring. I could read it all the time, and there's lots and lots of different versions, because there's so many people that have been successful in doTERRA, and all different types of people, as they say. So it's not just one type of person. You know, sometimes people see me and they think, well, I can't do it because I'm not like Emily. I wasn't in the theatre, I wasn't on the stage. I'm like, but anybody can build doTERRA. You don't have to be. That's the beauty of it. Anybody can do this if you have that intention within. So that's the first thing that I get people to do right now. I get them to read a couple of stories from the leadership magazine, and I ask them to tell me what inspired them, because I want to get them dreaming. I want to get them thinking about themselves and their own why, like I spoke about, because if that's strong enough, then they'll be prepared to do whatever it takes to get there. And then once they come back to me with that, then I'll start to maybe send a build guide, which is a bit more businessy. And maybe actually before that, I'll ask them to tell me their why. Like, why are they here? Because I can only lead somebody when I know what their intentions are. And people want different things from doTERRA. Some people want to do it really, really fast, and some people just want to do it on the side. Some people aren't really even sure. But if we know what matters to them, then we can be the best leaders in trying to guide them around what they want, because they're not going to go anywhere if they don't want it. Not hungry, you know. And then after they're inspired, I feel, and they're dreaming again, then you can start to ask people to do the action steps, the things that might feel uncomfortable or a bit weird. I remember, you know, writing a list of people and sharing my inner goals with somebody, and you know, all of those things, and writing a why. It kind of felt a little bit weird to me when I started doTERRA. I'd never done anything like this, and I had a bit of a block around like sharing my goals, and I was like, I just don't really want to talk about it. But I realized that was kind of some form of self-protection, actually. And now I see the importance of it, because yeah, if you have that really, really deep longing for something that you want to create in your life, it will keep you going. So it's, I think if you inspire people first, then they, when they do get uncomfortable, as we all do at certain stages, we're prepared to swim through that. Yeah. So does that make sense? And then after that, after they have looked over the build guide, maybe I send them some action steps. Sometimes it depends on the person. So sometimes I might hook them up with the daily mentor calls if I feel that's right for that person, because Elise is kind of like a bit like Marmite, isn't she? Like, some people really love her style, and some people it's too much for them. Otherwise, we have a launch guide training series that we taught for the team week by week on each different stage of the launch guide. So if I feel that that's more suited to them, I might share that. I'll make sure people know that a weekly call when they're first starting off is really important, because often people face the same challenges, and you can really guide them around that with your experience. And then get them to do a class. Like literally, sometimes you don't even need to send the build guide or start them on these programs. Just get them to organize a class and go teach it for them, because that's where the magic happens. That's where the fun is, seeing other people's reactions and just help, that feeling of being able to help people. Like a lot of people come into doTERRA because they want to help people. They love that feeling within, like something they believe in is helping other people too. It's an incredible feeling, incredible thing to be able to share. So if you get them doing a class and you teach most of it, but they're there and it's people that they care about, then that's, I think, a really good launch, and could even get them some money back quickly as well to start covering their costs. So that's another thing that I think is important. I try and get people to organize their first classes quite quickly. So does that make sense? Any other questions on that before I move on to talking about the business with children?
Madhavi was just asking if you sent them a physical copy or a link for the leadership magazine.
Hi Madhavi, I love you. I just send a link usually of the leadership magazine. Yeah, I just send links. It's much quicker and easier, and especially with the postage system right now. If I'm meeting with somebody and I've got some copies of things, then that's always nice to take, isn't it? And to personally give. But right now I just send links, and people are quite happy to click on links and read through stuff these days, especially when it's inspiring reading, you know, with a nice cup of tea. Sometimes I'll also share the Living magazine, the link to that as well, if it's just kind of for a customer who might, well, just for customers, but also the Living magazine is really inspiring for people that might share or build, because it's just filled with recipes and a little bit about the global sourcing, a little bit about science, and it's again a lovely thing to sit down with a cup of tea, and you can just flick through it. So that's also a really nice thing to send people to help them to be inspired.
So one little question, Emily, from me, adding to this. So you said you usually come together with the new builders like once a week. Do you do that in group calls with different kind of builders? I didn't quite get that. Or you do personal calls?
No, to begin with, I do personal calls usually. That can be quite a lot if you've got a lot of new people coming on, but I don't continue to do that all the time with everybody else. You know, I'm at the moment I'm offering a silvers and above monthly call, and then a monthly call for everybody as well. So in the silvers and above monthly call, we can focus on more kind of leadership stuff, so it's not, you know, the basics for them. And then the team call is kind of offers and news and anything else that's going on, maybe some education. And then these mentor calls, I feel like it's quite important for someone starting for the first kind of 5 or 6 weeks. And it also depends on the pace they want to go at. So if someone is interested in the business and wants to start, I'd sit down with them and I'd make sure I know what they want, you know, like what I spoke about, like what is it that you want to create in your life with doTERRA? The 3 pathways. Is it that you just want to have some free oils on your shelves? Is it that you want to supplement your income, or do you want to totally replace your income? And I always say to people, you know, for me, I didn't really know, because I feel like people don't know when they start. They don't know what this could be for them. So I always give myself as an example, and I say, you know, I didn't know. I thought supplementing my income by £500, say, per month would be amazing. Like that's where I thought this would be for me. But then I started loving it, and it was going really well. Why would I slow down or stop? I just kept going. And I often find that sometimes people are afraid to share their really big dreams with you because they don't want to let themselves down. So they won't say, I want to go for this and I want to hit that top rank, because they're embarrassed to say it, when there might be something inside them that actually they do have that internal drive. That was me. So I know that people don't always share that, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not within them once they get inspired. But I think it's really important just to have a genuine conversation about that, so you can really just try and figure out what matters to them, and then from there you can lead them in the best way. So for people that are wanting to do the business, we'll discuss that. I'll say, well, you will need to do these weekly mentor calls, you'll need to come onto team calls, you'll need to come to events and trainings. This is part of this business if you want to do well. And learn as you go, and I'll support you in what you've told me you want to create. I think it is important for the first 6 weeks for someone who wants to supplement or replace their income, that they do get that kind of weekly guidance. And also I really feel like it's time consuming if people are just messaging you all the time and you're having to just message people back, because they'll have a lot of questions. So actually just a half hour a week is usually enough. They can save up any questions that they've got, and you can kind of cover it and plan towards these first classes, help them to learn about reminding people properly and how to sample and invite. And then also I add them into the groups too, so they're learning as well from what else is going on in the groups and with the team. And then slowly as they start to find their feet, I'll slow down with the mentor calls, or maybe they might even start working a bit more with somebody else in the team once we've kind of figured out their pace and I know the pace they want to go at as well. So that those first few weeks are really important for you to be able to figure that out as well. Does that make sense? Am I still here?
I'm still here. Yeah, that was perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, so I'll talk about building doTERRA with small children. I think it's a choice, isn't it? The way that we think about things in life, we can think about things like why we can't, or we can think about things from the approach of why we can. And I've always been somebody that approaches life thinking about things because I can. So I actually see it really differently with doTERRA. I don't see the fact that I've had young children as being something that's held me back. I actually think it's made us successful. I actually think that we have become successful in doTERRA because we have young children, and because that has inspired people to see that anybody can do this. So I have had small children since I'd done doTERRA. I was pregnant with Ziggy, and now obviously we have baby Indy as well. I have 4 children, if anyone that doesn't know. And time is another reason why we can't, isn't it? Another reason that people give why they can't do something. But time is a choice. We all have the same amount of time in the day, so that one doesn't that one doesn't really mean anything to me either, the time excuse, because I know that time is a choice, and if something matters to us enough, let's go back to that, what matters, then we'll make the time. We choose to put the important things into our days, right? So I had no time when I started doTERRA. I really had no time. So that's why that one doesn't land with me, because Tim was working on Phantom of the Opera, 12 shows a week in London. And then we were running what's called caterpillar music classes. We were teaching music classes to babies and children, 12 classes a week, driving around with boxes of drums and maracas and puppets. And then at the weekends, I was doing children's parties and all this as well. I was a mum, and we have a dog too. So I really didn't have any time. But I found the time for doTERRA because I loved it. I was enjoying it, and it mattered to me. And slowly I was able to let go of the things that I didn't love so much, that were weighing me down, because doTERRA is a vehicle to create the freedom in your lives so you can do the things that matter to you. So you have to stick with it for a bit. And as I said, it's a choice. I'm not saying it's always easy, because I know that it's not. I know that it's not. In fact, some days still feel like a total car crash. And I think people, they look at leaders in doTERRA and they think they've got it all together. They've got all the systems and everything's time blocked, and they're all the right balance. No, I can genuinely say it's something we are still working at, on that pursuit. You know, like the doTERRA pursue what's pure. We're still on a pursuit ourselves. And we still try out different things. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But it's been amazing to be on this journey as a family for what it's created in our lives. And any sacrifices that we've had to make, they are so worth it for what we have right now and what we are creating in our future. It's all so worth it. And doTERRA is such a family business. That's why when I found doTERRA, I thought, hang on a minute. Not only have I found a product that I love, that I can see, I can share, but also I can do this business and be with my family and be with my kids. That's all that mattered to me. I didn't want to carry on being in the theatre because I didn't want to not be able to put them to bed at night time. There was no financial stability or security there. And doTERRA is even a company that allows your children at events and you know, trips that we do. There were children everywhere. I couldn't believe it. I thought, my goodness me, I have found such an incredible company here that allows you to be a mum and still make a success of your life at the same time for your family. So, you know, some days are not easy. Some days it's a challenge, but you don't have to be perfect. Like I think people think that they need to be this, you know, polished model, this of motherhood, and actually that's not inspiring. What's inspiring is real, is you being you, imperfectly perfect you. And you know, there are some days that you get the mum guilt as well. That comes in for all of us, but you have to remember what you are creating for your family is so much richer and deeper, and is so worth it. So let go of perfection. Just be you. It doesn't matter if you're doing a Zoom call and your kids come in and start climbing all over your heads. That's going to inspire people that they can do this too. You need to be authentic to who you are and what you're about. And people need to know that anybody can do this business. If I can do this business, you can do this business. I'm not a doctor. I'm not an aromatherapist. I had no letters after my name. I was just a mum with a dream and a passion to create the life for her family. And since doing doTERRA, ironically, I have trained as a health coach and a simplicity parenting coach. And I've been able to do the things that matter to me because doTERRA gives you the freedom to do what matters to you in your life. And so that's an amazing, amazing gift. So I think it's truly about finding that internal drive, being kind to yourself, be compassionate to yourself, you know, try not to be overwhelmed, use your oils, and just keep going. Just keep going, keep consistent, and the universe will answer you. The universe will come back. I believe that. Does that help?
Thank you so much. It's so beautiful to listen to your realizations. So,
yeah, any more questions? Oh, that's nice. I'm just reading the chat.
There's one question here from Anna. She says, I'm still studying and most of my friends are also students. So marketing doTERRA to them is probably more difficult because of their low income. So how can I get those people to attend my workshops and enroll with me? Any tips?
Mm-hmm. I think when it comes to students, you know, it's really exciting to promote doTERRA to young people because young people have this other fire in their bellies. I think like people are waking up to the fact that they don't want to live a life that has no meaning or purpose for them. And I've spoken to so many young people that are realizing that they don't want to get stuck in a corporate job. You know, perhaps they're studying in something that they're not really that passionate about, because we all have to decide what we want to do when we're 14 or 15 years old, when we don't really probably know who we are or what we're about. So it's a really exciting option. Like, I wish I'd started doTERRA when I was 20. Like, Mira is going to be such a rock star builder, isn't she? We love her so much, that she knows so much. Like, it's an incredible opportunity. But I would say, because of the financial thing, they need to just ask for some support from family members, and they need to maybe ask their family, their mum, their aunties to host classes and start that way. And then you can do a hosted class with them, either live or online, and just get that support from older people that they know that have their own circles. So again, it's about thinking about who you know, who can connect you with their circles and networks. That would be a suggestion. Then once, if they get some enrollments, that can help with the income and get them started, get them their oils and help them to enroll.
Yes, there's a related question from Kauta also. How to start off if you don't have an income? She wants to start doTERRA as a main and only income, but just now she doesn't have an income.
So this is not a get rich quick program. It's way better than that. Like, if it was a get rich quick program, you could lose it just as quick. Okay, this is about building those foundations so they're solid and sturdy and they stay for life. Okay, so the initial investment with doTERRA is actually very low. So when I spoke about our Caterpillar Music work that we did, we actually bought a franchise for that, and it cost us £11,500. And I think I was earning the same money in doTERRA after 6 months as it took us in 7 years to do Caterpillar Music, and it was much more time consuming and hard work. And then obviously there's a monthly spend as well, but the initial outlay for a business that can create so much in your life is so low, really. If people can't afford the initial investment to buy the oils, I would encourage them to have a class. Have a class, although you can't sample as well. So it is better to get your oils first, so you can sample people and so you're using them yourselves. But if you can't do that, have a class, try and do your best to gather interest and work really, really hard around that. And then if people come to the class, hopefully they'll see the benefits of enrolling, and that could cover you getting your first oils. And then just work. So like, I covered my costs in doTERRA after about 3 months. I covered my initial kit. I borrowed the money from my mum because I didn't have a spare £240, but it mattered to me, so I asked her. Some people have sold things in the past. I heard, one of our team, she sold a futon because it mattered to her so much that she had the oils. And then I worked hard, so I got people to the next class and the next class. Didn't have loads of classes to start off with, but I just made connections. It's network marketing, isn't it? It's about building relationships and connecting with people. And then by my 3rd month, I was able to pay my mum back, and the commission came in to cover the cost of that monthly spend. And then those customers, they kept buying, and I kept finding new people too, slowly and surely. So then I started earning money on top, and it just grew and grew and grew from there. So if you want to cover your costs quickly, you do need a bit of an initial investment. If you can try and find a way to do that, maybe by having a class and getting lots of interest, and then put the work in, you should be able to cover your costs pretty quickly and build through the ranks as fast as you want. It is all dependent of the time that you're willing to put into this, and the commitment that you're willing to put into this. So hopefully that helps.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Time is going so fast. So I don't know how much time you can spare for us.
Yeah, I have got the kids that I do need to obviously help probably with bedtime, but I can probably stay on for 5 more minutes unless there's anything else that anyone needs covering.
Yeah, maybe we can open it up. Maybe we have missed some questions in the chat. Maybe
Yeah.
somebody wants to ask a question personally. So take the chance now.
Amazing attendance as well. Well done for all coming on. I really hope that what I've shared with you has been helpful.
Okay, Nadine wants to say something.
I'm trying that. Okay. Hi, Emily. Hi,
Hi,
Claudia.
Nadine.
I just wanted to ask, how are you working right now during those times where we can't do workshops? Do you have any tips? What works for you?
Yeah, so we're teaching webinars for sure, and doing a lot of stuff online. I mean, it's really not that different for us this lockdown period. I'm finding, although I'm often teaching classes, we work from home anyway. Our kids are at home a lot of the time anyway because they go to a Steiner school, and so they don't actually start formal learning till they're 7. So they are at home a lot of the time anyway. And I think it's just really important that you really focus and prioritize on what is important to fit into your day, even if it's just one thing or 2 things, because otherwise, once everything else starts coming in, other things that other people need, if you're not clear and kind of laser focused on what you need to do, you won't get it done. And then you get those feelings of kind of overwhelm or anxiety coming in because you're not getting what you need to get done. And that's hard as a mother as well, especially when your little people are around you and they need you. So I think it's just really important that you focus on what you need to get done that day, that week, and you fit that in first. And that's being the best leader that you can for your team too, because if you show them that, then they'll learn that to teach that same thing too, rather than them being overwhelmed, so you have to be a bit selective. And I wasn't very good at that to begin with, because I felt like I had to get back to everybody straight away, otherwise they wouldn't like me or they wouldn't think I cared, because I had all of those things going on in myself, my own inner judgments. But actually, I know now that you just have to be a bit more disciplined with yourself. And I certainly do. I'm not that disciplined, and I'm not that organized, actually, as a person. You don't have to be. You don't have to be totally organized and have everything in systems in place. You just have to have that internal thing, and then find your flow, do it your own way, but keep going. That's what you need to do.
Any final question?
When we were in Portugal, I think it was last September or September before, I shared a presentation called You Do You. And I shared a picture of my desk at home, because when we moved into our house, it's a project. It's a big project. Like, some days, this is the only room where I can come into where the background's kind of okay. Like, other rooms are really bad. Like, it's been quite good, actually, because the kids like peel the wallpaper off. And like, that doesn't look good. That doesn't look like a blue diamond leader. But because we haven't done the work yet, it's okay, because the house can be wrecked. And then when we do the work up, when we get our planning permission through, then they won't be able to do that anymore. But I shared a picture of our desk, which is just our dining table, actually, which is the living room, the center of the house. So I have no office where I can go and shut the door. And the desk was particularly bad that day. It had Lego on it and butterflies and books, and then scribbled on pieces of paper as well. One of our team came round and she was like, "That's your office?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she said, "Wow, that's inspiring that you've created what you've created and that's your office." And I hadn't really thought about it before, because sometimes that's not easy when you're just in the living room and the kids are running around and jumping over you. But that's how we've done it. That is how we've done it. And some people, they couldn't operate like that. But we had no choice. We didn't want to wait till the house was done and everything was perfect. So we just got on with it. And I think that's the point, isn't it? You just got to get on with it. So.
Okay, there's some question in the chat box still. I don't know if you still have time.
Have a look.
Madhavi was writing, what do you do on a regular basis for customers? Like welcome packages, oil can, continuing education, anything else, and how often? And where do you do you have a newsletter, Facebook, anything?
Yeah. I have a monthly newsletter, which is a kind of a bit of a blog as well. So when I first started doing doTERRA, I kind of just used to share the offers, and then it didn't feel like, I don't know, it felt a bit heavy doing it that way. Now I like storytelling. I like being creative and using my imagination, and I actually really enjoy just making it personal, like a bit of a blog each month. And then I'll add the offers on as well. I'll also add on any of my classes that are happening. I have a website now, but I didn't for a long time. So I add the links of classes onto my website. And I also share the classes that I'm doing on the Facebook page. So we have an open Facebook page, then we have a closed customer group. So everything, I kind of share everything everywhere. We run Oil Camp thanks to Claudia, because Claudia introduced me to Oil Camp, and I'm a massive advocate of it now. It's been amazing. So we do that every month, and now a lot of my team are doing their own, which is great. We have like a giveaway group or an offers group that I kind of change into different things. So sometimes I'll just run a giveaway like for a week or something. It's actually a really fun thing to do, and actually you only need, like, if you do a 7-day giveaway, you only need 7 different products, but you do a post, and you need to be clever with it. So you ask a question, get people to be interactive, and then you pick a draw for the winner. And people love it. They love a free thing, and you're educating them at the same time. You're getting everybody excited. And then sometimes I might, if there's a BOGO, then that group will turn into a BOGO, share a way of sharing the BOGOs. And like I'm going to change that same group into a convention group. So for anybody that buys a ticket to the webvention, they get to go into this separate group where we just have some articles and research, maybe some interviews, maybe sharing and chatting about what's happening at webvention, and maybe some giveaways as well, and some offers, and just have some fun. So that's another thing that we offer, and that's obviously not just for customers, that's for anybody. It's almost to help them to see the benefit of becoming a customer. Then when they become a customer, they will go into the Facebook customers group, they'll get Oil Camp, and they get like a little welcome goodie bag as well from me, which usually incorporates a wild orange, an A to Z booklet, an empty roller bottle or spray, so they can start having fun and being inspired about making things, and some samples. And I put different things in, actually. Like I just ordered a load of diffuser bracelets, in bulk, the lava bead ones. So sometimes I'll put something like that in. I think that's quite nice, because it's just that extra thing that makes people think, oh, I really want that, so I'm going to sign up now. It's that extra incentive. Yeah, and then I have an automated system as well on my emails that will go out to customers after they've enrolled, and then after 30 days to talk about, how they're getting on, are they interested in hosting a class, and then after 90 days, how are you getting on, and might you be interested, don't forget that there's an amazing business opportunity, and let me know if you'd like to book a discovery chat about that. So yeah, we have a business opportunity webinar that we're also offering out to our whole team coming up soon too. So that's a nice thing that you can do together. And then I say to the team, why don't we all try and get 2 people on and really feel the momentum and the growth? So that's also a really nice thing, because you see right now, again, it boils down to choice, doesn't it? You can look at this situation as something that can stop us, or you can look at this situation as a gift. obviously not what's going on in the world, but like for us, how can we make this work and create some really good things from it? And so working from home is a great option for people, and suddenly people more than ever are paying attention to investing into their health. They're realizing that that's so important. If we don't have our health, it doesn't matter what else we do have. So it's about helping people to see those things and sowing the seeds and working with them online or over the phone. Okay.
Thank you so much, Emily. It's so inspiring. Everybody is happy. I see happy faces. Everybody is writing nice comments, and so
Thank you so much
for coming on the call.
Thank you for having me. Thanks so much.
I want to thank all the new people. I see many new faces, and thank you for participating in this wonderful call. And so I wish you a lovely evening. Thank you, Emily. My greetings to Tim.
He's downstairs with the kids, so I better go rescue him now.
Yeah, have a nice evening or have a nice day for those who are in the US. And we will see you all very soon, hopefully again in person.
Lovely. Take care of yourself, everybody. Lots of love. Speak soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, dear Emily.